All right, welcome to the fourth topic in our Year of Wellbeing series. So for those who are watching the recording, my name is Allie Phillips. And the information that I'm going to share today is not meant to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent any disease. And you may think that your job is a disease, but that's not. we are not going to be talking regarding that. We're going to be talking about ways to have well-being in your work. All right, so just a little bit about me, and I'm passionate about anything involving well-being in work because I have been an attorney for 27 years. I was a frontline criminal prosecuting attorney. There was no well-being to be had in that work. And then I left the courtroom and became a legal educator, traveling the world teaching at criminal justice prosecution conferences. Not a lot of well-being in that either, being on an airplane all the time. So that's when I discovered all sorts of natural wellness options because my health was deteriorating rapidly. So through my work, I'm still an attorney. I specialize in animal protection, animal abuse, and how it links to family violence. So again, topics that are not supportive of my well-being. I'm also the owner of Manifested Harmony. I started that business in 2011 when I was a full-time attorney in the Washington, D.C. area. So I'm going to talk about how you do that. How do you start your passion business when you're full-time and busy? So I'm also the CEO and founder of a nonprofit called Sheltering Animals and Families Together, where I help domestic violence shelters to create on-site pet housing. So I have 3 businesses going simultaneously, and through all of it, I help animals, I help people. I'm a holistic wellness consultant. I'm a Young Living brand partner, and I have well-being with 3 businesses. So it can be done. It can be done. All right. I'm also the author of The Oily Pet and The Oily Crystal because I'm an advanced crystal master, and I go a little bananas when I see people blending toxic crystals in essential oils. So if you love to blend crystals and essential oils, I'd highly recommend you grab that book so that you're doing it safely. All right. So like I said, this is the 4th installment of the Year of Wellbeing. We're going to be talking about passion work. Next month, we get into abundant mindset. Ooh, that is a minefield of interesting thoughts. All right, so we are going to talk about passion work. April is Passion Work Month in my business. So in this presentation, what I want to touch upon is really making sure that you have well-being in your work, or that you're moving forward with your passion work. Because, and I want you can answer this in the chat if you want. Do you wake up with excitement for the day before you go to work? Yes or no? Are your days fulfilling? Do you get to the end of your day, like right now, and think, I did good today. I did really good. I feel good. So are you fulfilled? Do you feel like you're contributing to society? Or are you too exhausted to be passionate about anything? You're just dragging yourself home at the end of the day and lucky to eat dinner and throw yourself into bed. So work has become a 4-letter word for a lot of people, but here's the thing, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. Half our waking hours or more are spent in work for anybody who does full-time work, which is typically a 40-hour work week. I never had the luxury of a 40-hour work week when I was an attorney. It was more like 70 to 80, sometimes 90 hours. And if that's your reality, you can have well-being with that. With 3 businesses, I have done a lot better, but I still have weeks where I put in the hours. You can have well-being. So when you think about half of your waking hours or more are spent at work, whether you're working from home, whether you're working in a workplace environment, well-being comes down to making sure that you are not drained at the end of the day so that you can actually go home and have a life and have good relationships and not be depleted and cranky and ornery. And it's also about enjoying your work time, because if you're spending more than half of your waking hours, why would you torture yourself with work that you detest, with a boss you don't like, with a company you don't like, with coworkers you can't stand, with an environment that makes you uncomfortable? Why would you torture yourself? And I really want you to think about this. I really want you to think about this. Because if you cringe when you think about your work, that absolutely will contribute to poor health, emotional imbalance, mental health issues, and you won't enjoy life. And I apologize for being blunt, but it is true. And I have learned that over the last 27 years of my life. So when I think about work, there's different pathways to work that people pursue. The first pathway is a job. There's a difference between a job and a career. A job is where you spend your day earning money. You exchange your time for money. There's a limit on how much you can earn. There's a limit on how many hours you can work. There's a limit on where you can go and progress in the work. And there's not much fulfillment in the job. For most people, it's, hey, I need money. That's it. I need money. And so, for most people in this category, it's either part-time or full-time, and they don't enjoy it. It ends up being soul draining work. You don't want to go to work. You count the hours until you can leave. You TGIF. You get sad, the evening before you return to work, and you crave days off. You do it temporarily for financial help, or you feel stuck because you've been in the job too long and you feel like you're going to lose benefits. This is no way to live, and it is 100% not well-being. Because in that environment, you take it home. You take it home with you. There's no way you can't take it home with you. And you will begin to suffer physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And so will everyone around you, your kids, your pets, your spouse, your family. And I see this in a lot of people who work for the government, or who work for big businesses, or who even work for family-owned businesses, where you literally have no say about what goes on. You have no say at all, because it's their business. I mean, these are workers that have no say. Now, also within this are part or full-time workers that actually enjoy their work, but they realize they have no upward progression. They get no real recognition, and even though they enjoy the work, or they enjoy the company, they enjoy the mission of the company, it's slowly going to drain your energy and your well-being, because you know that you're stuck, and the longer you stay, the worse it gets. So these are people who actually enjoy the work or the topic of the work, but maybe not actually the work itself. Now, the second category is career people, where when you have a career, you spend your day creating opportunities. That's a career, because you can either work for someone or you can branch out and work on your own. Careers have opportunities and options for expansion already built into them that a job does not. Okay, now, same thing. People can have a full-time career that they don't enjoy. They can have a full-time career that they do enjoy, but they long for more, or they're burned out. That was me. I loved being a lawyer. It almost killed me. That was me. no job, no paycheck. I don't care how much money or what the benefits are. No job is worth your health, period. Period. And that is a mindset that we need to get to in this country, because in Europe, they have that mindset. They don't work themselves into the grave like Americans do. So, you know, if you have a career and you enjoy it, but you long for more, like there's more that you want to do, or you're burned out, you know, you may have your dream career, but you may be missing something. You know, maybe you don't feel like you're contributing to the world, or you're making a difference, or you're leaving your legacy or your mark on the world. And one thing that is very interesting, and not just the last 2 years in the pandemic, this has been going on for a decade or more, where people are actually switching careers, even if it means they're not using their higher education degrees. I know Wall Street stockbrokers who opened up doggy daycare businesses. I'm an attorney with a health and wellness business. So this is the thing that you're seeing with people who are burned out or just want more. And so it's easy to get stuck in a career because you spend a lot on your education, maybe you've been in it for a while. But here's the thing, who came up with the rule that we're meant to do the same job our entire life? Because we're not. We're not meant to do the same thing our entire life. So it is a good thing to change. Now, the third category of pathways to work is you have full-time work, whether you love it or not, but you have a side passion. It could be a project, or it could actually be a business. And so these people spend time each evening and every weekend working on their passion project or passion business because it lights them up. They love it. They do it whether they get paid or not. People did this during the pandemic. So many home-based and solopreneur businesses launched and are thriving because they threw themselves into it. It lit them up. They love it. And so, you know, they don't care about the hours that they work. They love it. And, you know, this was me when I was full-time as an attorney in the DC area, and I started Manifested Harmony, where I was teaching about energy healing, and then came along Young Living, and I didn't even know that I would be paid. I didn't care. I didn't care at that point. I just started sharing. So, you know, in this category, maybe you don't know how to turn your passion into a paid career without exhausting yourself, because, you know, you're still in a mindset of exchanging time for money, or you need to hire help because you can't do it all yourself, or you just haven't found how you can monetize your passion. Any passion can be monetized. That's the one thing that I've learned. I mean, I sell essential oils and crystals. If somebody would have told me that 10 years ago, I would have laughed my behind off. I sell essential oils and crystals, and I love it. I love it. I love it. And that's the thing, you can actually monetize your passions. So, you know, if, you know, when you know what your passion is, you're more likely to do it. But there still are a fair number of people who, they know what their side passion is, but they think they're too busy to start. They're going to wait until they retire, or they're going to wait until life calms down. Well, hint, life never calms down. And what if you never get to retire? What if you're too sick or tired once you retire? Then what? Never, ever, ever, ever put off what you are passionate about, because tomorrow is not guaranteed at all. It's not. So the fourth category of work pathways are people who just frankly feel lost. Maybe they just recently retired. Maybe they're in a full-time job or full-time career that is incredibly unfulfilling and toxic and is literally sucking the soul out of their body like a dementor. You know, they wake up, they go to work, they come home, they sleep, they do it all over again, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. And the years go by and you get more depressed and it's hard to dig yourself out and you're lost. Like you literally don't know what your passions are. If that's you, go to that website on the screen, clarityonfire.com, and take the quiz. It's very interesting and it'll help you. So if you're thinking that you want to have a side business, you want to have a passion business, one of the biggest misconceptions out there that drives me bananas is the thought that you have to hustle to get it done. Okay, I'm a ballroom dancer. Hustle is a social dance. It's not a business practice. That word has such a negative connotation to it because it's not only a pushy energy on others, but it is a pushy energy on yourself that leads to burnout and depletion, and your health is going to crash. Slow and consistent is the winning combination. Never hustle. So if you have any items with that word on it, please throw them in the trash. Please throw them in the trash. I've always believed in an anti-hustle culture for all of my work. Yeah, there are moments when I put my nose to the grindstone and I get stuff done, but I'm not going to hustle and make myself frantic and do it all the time. So if you're thinking, well, Allie, I have a full-time job, but I'd really like this side passion business. I'm just going to have to hustle to get it done. Nope, not at all. Slow and consistent, even if you dedicate 30 minutes a day to it. That is the winning combination. So one of the things to really identify is, what is your passion? So passion comes from the Latin word pati, which actually means suffering. And when I learned that, I'm like, what? You got to be kidding me. That means suffering? Here's the thing. When we're passionate about something, we are willing to suffer to make it happen. We are willing to make short-term sacrifices to make it happen. So what are your passions? What are the 5 things that you could talk about endlessly that you love? That will give you an idea of your passion work. And are you willing to put in the time, the effort, the money, the soul to make it happen? If not, keep looking, because for something that you're passionate about, you will put in the time, the effort, the money, and your soul to make it happen, even when you're tired, no matter what's going on in your life. We all know people who are super passionate about their job, even though you would never do it, but they're passionate about it. We all know people who are passionate about their career, even though you may not find it exciting. Personally, I do not find accounting and auditing exciting. I would rather stick a pen in my eye. It's why I went to law school, to avoid math. But my sister is an auditor and she loves it. She looks at my work and she's like, I don't know how you do that. Very, very different. So it's finding what lights you on fire. And when you work on what you love, you actually release endorphins in your body and you feel better, which then revs you up to do more. But here's the thing, you have to change. You have to give up things in order to make room for this, because you can't create something new from the place and energy where you are now. You actually literally have to create the space for it. So what are you willing to sacrifice and suffer to make it happen? Now, you can use all of that as an excuse and stay where you are, but you will regret it. I see this all the time. You will regret it. So your mindset is a really big indicator of what your well-being is with your current work or your passion work that you are working to create. So here's the thing. You can absolutely change your energy about your current work while you take steps toward your passion work. Because if you're in a job and you are still of the mindset, Allie, I can't leave my job, I just can't, then you need to change the way you look at that job. Because if you're miserable, why would you do that to yourself? Okay, so it comes down to whether you have an abundant or a lack mindset. You can either have an I can't attitude or an I can, because that you can control. Can't control your boss, can't control the company, can't control your coworkers, may not even be able to control much of your work, but you can control how you think about it and how you respond to it. You know, work really does not have to be a 4-letter word, because work is a means to money to allow you to live life on your terms. We put the emotions on it, but work itself has no emotion. It has no emotion to it. We put the trigger on it that triggers the emotions and stresses us out. So, for those of you who are spending your day doing work that brings you joy and, brings contribution, you tend to have the most abundant mindset. Those who are in the mind-numbing, soul-draining jobs tend to have the lack mindset, and it will connect to every aspect of your life. So your mindset is going to determine whether you can pull yourself out of your situation and into one that you desire, or whether you stay stuck for the rest of your life. So if I were to ask you, how would you spend your days if you didn't have to worry about money? What would you do? If you can, type it in the chat. If you didn't have to worry about money, you just won the lottery at $575 million, half of which will go to the IRS, but that is still a nice jackpot. You just won that money. You do not have to work a day in your life. You don't have to worry about money at all. How are you going to spend your day? Because what's interesting, people think, oh, I'll relax. I'll go to the beach. I'll golf. Yeah, that's very short-lived. We are hardwired to live on purpose. What's your purpose? So this is where you can start. How would you spend your days? Whether I get paid or not, I love teaching about essential oils. I love teaching about wellness and energy healing and Reiki and crystals. I love selling crystals. Oh my gosh, if I can go spend other people's money at crystal shows, I love that. I love that. Whether I got paid or not, I would do it. So it's really important to know what your current mindset is. And there's a ton of books and a ton of programs on mindset, or just simply start using Young Living's transformation oil. Just start using that. Okay. So, all right. So can you really have well-being in your work? Let's say the work that you're in right now is really draining on you. It's emotionally, physically, mentally draining on you. Can you really feel good in your work, even if you don't love it, even if you're working on something else? So one of the biggest well-being steps you can take when it comes to your work is to spend your time doing something that lights you on fire. Something that excites you to start the day, something that keeps you engaged all day long, where you don't TGIF or count the days until vacation. It's where you lose track of time because you're so engaged in it. And it all comes down to finding what you would do whether you're paid or not, and what contribution you can leave in this world. That's what it comes down to. And finding that while you're in your current job. So, if you have days where you're in the zone and you're in the flow and you forget to have lunch and you're working on something, you just found your calling. You just found your calling. For me, it's creating. I love to create. It's why I love to teach. It's why I never teach other people's materials. I didn't do that as an attorney. I don't do it as a health and wellness professional, because that would drain my soul to use somebody else's materials. That's me. That's me, because my passion is creating, whereas other people are not fueled by creation. They enjoy sharing other people's work. They take some of my work and share it. This is where you have to figure out you. Okay. So, we all have endless choices in how we spend our day. And if you feel like you're stuck in a job or career, that is a mindset that you own, and you can change it. That's the empowering thing. You can change it. If you feel like you have to do what your employer tells you about your health and when to take time off, where to work, who to work with, what to do, that's a mindset. If you feel like you're too far in your job and you can't leave, that's a mindset, and that's a choice that you've made. I mean, I walked away from my legal career at year 21. And it would have been easy to say, oh, I'm so close to the end. I'm just going to keep going. I mean, I'm still an attorney, but not in that regard, not in a traditional sense. So at any point, you can change your mind. And if you feel like you never have time to start your passion, on the side, that is a mindset, and that's your choice. So how you feel about your work is a thought that you created, because work on its own doesn't have emotions or thoughts or triggers. It's simply a situation, and you assign feelings to it. And from your thoughts about your work, it creates feelings in you. And from those feelings in you, it creates your actions or non-action. And from those actions, it creates your results. And you're in charge of all of that. And so, a lot of time, because I talk to people about starting their side business, whether it's with Young Living or anything else, get going. And they don't. And I hear, but Allie, I can't leave my job. Okay, that's your choice. So stop complaining about it and find a way to love it. Since you're choosing to stay, nobody's forcing you to stay. You're choosing to stay. You've got to change your mindset and realize you have more control than you think you do. Okay, you have more control than you think you do. But a big thing, if you are in a job that you don't love, is finding the parts of your work to be grateful for, parts of your job that you love. And that's going to shift your energy into more gratitude, and is not going to drain you at the end of the day. Because when you look back on your work life so far, do you actually smile and feel like it's been time well spent? Or do you feel like it was a waste of time and nobody cares what you've done? Everyone wants to feel valued and important and needed, and everybody wants to leave a footprint. And everybody can. Everybody can. You can. Okay? So what do we do? What do we do? How do we either feel good about the work that we have now, or how do we create the side passion that fuels us, so that your paying job, you're like, you know what? I'm there, I'm doing a good job, I'm collecting a paycheck, but I'm saving my energy for my passion. How do you get to that point? All right, let's dive into your solar plexus chakra. All right, because this is very important when it comes to this topic. Your solar plexus is located in your midsection, right in your stomach area. This is your power center, and it is the center that has the relationship with yourself. Because if you have been holding back, if you are miserable in your work, and if you've been holding back on either getting the job that you want or starting the side passion that you want, that's all about your relationship with yourself. Okay? If our power center, solar plexus, is imbalanced, it will detrimentally impact our work, on how we relate to others, and whether we actually have the self-motivation to pursue our dreams. If we are imbalanced in the relationship with ourselves, that can stop us in our tracks when it comes to knowing our purpose in life and pursuing our purpose and finding the mechanism to be paid in our passion work, because, bills are a part of life. You deserve to be paid for your passions. And this also impacts whether we feel that we are even worthy of having dreams and goals and entitled to enjoy our work. I'm going to tell you right now, you are entitled to do work and earn money doing things that you love. You are entitled. You are absolutely entitled. So if you detest your work, but you don't have a dream job, your solar plexus could be the issue. So the solar plexus physically in the body impacts our stomach, our adrenals, our digestive system, the liver, the gallbladder, the spleen, and the pancreas. So if you've got physical issues in this area, you got a solar plexus problem. Okay, I'm going to give you some solutions for it. Now, when your solar plexus energetically is balanced, as a person, you are responsible, you're reliable, you're confident, you have positive self-esteem, you're playful, you're humorous, you have good motivation, you can control your emotions, and you have a warm personality. Now, if your solar plexus is depleted, you're just weak-willed. You have no willpower. You want to do things, but you don't get up off the couch. You're unreliable, you're easily manipulated, you you have poor discipline, lack of focus. You might be just kind of emotionally numb. You may feel like a victim all the time, that life is happening to you and your boss is coming after you and your coworkers don't like you, and you blame others when things go wrong. That is a depleted solar plexus. And when you balance it, you can flip that around. Now, if your solar plexus is inflamed or excessively working, you may find that you get angry all the time. You feel the need to be right. You're getting into fights with your coworkers, and you need to have the last word. You're finding that you're becoming stubborn and domineering and controlling, deceptive. You're throwing emotional tantrums, and you may even overeat. So can you see how your solar plexus can impact you in your work, in your relationships at work, how you view your work, your work surroundings, how you view your coworkers, your boss, even identifying and pursuing your passion work? Your solar plexus impacts all of it. And so if you've been frustrated in your work and feeling unworthy to even dream, or unable to even get your passion job or passion project off the ground, this is the chakra you want to work on. So, liberally use essential oils like orange, tangerine, because the solar plexus resonates with yellow and sometimes even a little bit of orange. That's the color frequency it resonates with. So orange and tangerine oils are really good. Lemon, lemongrass, lime. The citrus oils are amazing for the solar plexus. Just topically apply it, or you can ingest them. Ginger, cardamom, even thieves are really good for the solar plexus. So topically apply them on your stomach or put them in a capsule and ingest them. And if you work on your solar plexus and do something daily to nurture it back into balance, you're going to see some amazing transformation happen in this area. So let's talk about some additional techniques for change in this area. So one of the big things is to find your passion. What's your passion mission? What would make you fly out of bed with excitement every morning? Here are some questions to think about. What did you love to do as a child? What's interesting for me, I was obsessed with Nancy Drew. I was a dancer, still to this day. Since the age of 3, I have been a dancer. With Nancy Drew, I love to investigate. I've always been surrounded by animals. I was a rock collector from the moment I could walk, and I loved gardening. Nancy Drew and investigating, I became a prosecutor. Well, I also wrote my first book when I was 5 years old, and I'm a book author. Gardening, that relates to essential oils. I've been collecting rocks since I could walk. That's my passion for crystals. Animals, everything I do involves animals. Look to what you loved as a child. You could turn it into a career. You absolutely can. Also ask yourself, what are you doing when you feel happiest? What are you doing when you lose track of time because you just get into the zone and you just love it and you get lost in it? What do you want to be known for? What are 5 things that you can talk about endlessly with joy? Like if somebody were to ask you about your pets, about gardening, your car, traveling, what could you talk about endlessly? And then every day ask yourself if what you did that day or experienced, did it light you up? If it's no, then okay, you got to figure out what lights you up. All right. Now, you also need to feel your best. Always be working on your physical body. We've got 700 products in Young Living to help you with your physical body. So make sure that you have physical wellness, because if you feel like crap, you won't have the energy to do anything. Okay. Find ways to get into this zone that I'm talking about. Because when you're doing something that you're passionate about, you're going to get into the zone and time flies and you're going to feel on purpose and you're going to feel on fire. Aim for that. Aim for that. Work in inspiring environments. So spring It's spring. And decluttering is a big part of spring cleaning. So make your workspace inspiring. Clean the desk. Anybody who says a cluttered desk is an organized mind, absolutely not. Energetically, it is impossible. Clean your desk, organize it. Look at the colors in your workspace. What's on the walls? Do you need a new desk? Do you need inspiring quotes on the walls? Do you need crystals? Look up behind me. I got oils and crystals. I've got crystals everywhere. I've got oils everywhere. Good grief. It is like an oily crystal palace over here. Do you need flowers? What do you need? Music. Are you inspired working in other places, like coffee shops? I travel 90 minutes to a coffee shop at Lake Michigan, and I get my best work done there because I'm inspired by it. Go to where you're inspired. Go to where you feel best. Maybe play music, whether it's frequency music, like the solfeggio music. You can go on a YouTube and type in, 963 hertz music and play it. It'll completely change your frequency. Diffuse your oils, have crystals nearby. Just make sure you don't have any quartz-based crystals near your computer. That's kind of a no-no. And then think about what you want to pursue on purpose. When we play it safe, when we're stuck and stagnant, that's a sign of playing it safe. People who live on purpose and intentionally live longer and better lives because they have passion. They're excited to get up in the morning. And it's about being intentional in how you spend your time. If you're in a work where you just do what you're told, that's not intentional and you're not really living your life. That's half your waking life where you're not even intentional about it. So you have to be willing to change. You have to be willing to think differently. Change how you spend your time. Change what you give your thoughts to. Think how different our world would be if Gary Young listened to the skeptics and decided to play it safe. The world would not be a better place. Okay? So being intentional in your time involves thinking about what's important to you. So that may, a little while ago, I said you may have to sacrifice some things because if you're passionate about something, you will have some short-term suffering to get what you want. So, you may need to limit your time on technology. If you react every time your phone or computer beeps, you're losing valuable productivity time. Turn it off when you work and you'll work faster. And then you'll have time for your passion. And if you're binging on TV shows and social media at the end of the day, think of all the wasted time that could have been spent imagining and planning your passion work and actually making it happen. That's where you got to give something up to make something happen. And so when people tell me that they don't have time for something, I'm like, sure you do. It's just not important because we all have time. We all have time. And then I remind them that I have 3 businesses. And it's like, do you want to come up with another excuse? Because I'm going to help you work through it. I'm going to help you find what's important to you. So that's the thing. You got to find what you're passionate about. And then allow yourself to receive. We say we want things to happen and then we do nothing to make the dream come true. How many New Year's goals did you set on January 1st that you haven't even looked at? When opportunities knock on your door, if you're not receptive, you're not going to see it and you're going to ignore it. So be open and look for these signs every day. It could be an idea that drops into your brain or a book that you see or a class that pops up on social media. Other opportunities will come to you if you remain open and receptive. And be careful about the words that you speak throughout the day, because if you want to create something that you're passionate about so that you can get paid for it, but then you say words that delete it, it's not going to come to you. So if you have a goal to create, I do a lot of work in, with animals and animal rescue. And let's say you want to, create a business, you want to create an animal rescue. But then you say, oh gosh, I don't know how I'm going to get the funding for that. Well, you just canceled it. You just canceled it. So if you really want to learn about conscious language, Google classes taught by Marcella Bonharding. She's a Royal Crown Diamond in Young Living. Google her conscious language classes, and she's amazing, okay? But also, you know, another technique for change is to make sure that your days have joy and fun in them. If you are literally waking up, going to work, coming home, going to bed, waking up, going to work, going home, going to bed, you have no joy and fun in your life, okay? So all work and no play is no one that anyone wants to hang out with. So you got to have joy and fun. And then you're going to get those passionate ideas. It's going to fuel you. Envisioning what you want is important. So if, you know, creating a vision board, not with the final result, but with the steps you take. That's the key part of a vision board that a lot of people don't do. You have to put the steps on there. Because putting the end result, if you don't know how to get there, vision board isn't going to help. Put the steps. Write down what you need to do to succeed and put it in your calendar. You know, make it like a meeting with your boss that you wouldn't ignore. You know, too many people tell me that they don't know what to do. So you really have to think it out. You got to plan the steps. I actually go through this in my Visioning for 2022 class. It's on demand. You can get it on my website. And I walk you through the system that I use, which is why I have 3 businesses, because I know exactly what to do so that I don't have to work 100-hour weeks. I plan it out. I know the steps. I never waste time on what I need to do. Another thing is to really find self-worth in the workplace that you have right now. Okay. Finding gratitude in what you can. If you've got to smell your gratitude oil, smell your gratitude oil. Diffuse it in the workplace if you can, or put it in a diffuser necklace and wear it. It's really important to separate your self-worth and your self-esteem from your work. Don't let your work wear you down. You are not your job. You are not. Don't let it wear you down, because it'll stop you from going for your passion work. Don't compare yourself to others, because comparison kills joy. You know, you may be at the beginning of doing something where somebody else may be in the middle or near the end of successfully creating their passion work. And so, you know, when you have FOMO, you know, give yourself space every day to nurture yourself in your dream, and don't get into fear of missing out. Focus on your dream, because all these shiny objects are over here trying to distract you. Don't go for it. Stay focused. Work on your confidence, boost your confidence. This is where your solar plexus work is going to help, because you're good enough. You are qualified enough. You have what it takes to do what you need to do. And anyone who tells you otherwise should be removed from your life. They should. And that includes your inner voice. You got to work on that. Get your solar plexus in shape, and this will rebound and help you. You know, it's interesting. Men apply for jobs when they are only 60% qualified, but women wait until they're 100% qualified before they apply. Put yourself out there and stop waiting for perfection. Do it. Just do it, because you're not guaranteed tomorrow. And then the last thing here is, who are the 5 people you spend the most time with? Avoid people who drain you, who constantly take from you, who don't support you. You know, find people with a trait that you need to develop and hang out with them. And if you are the most qualified or the most positive person in your group of 5, you need a new group. Always level up. Always level up. Always be in a group that is so much more qualified. They will pull you up. They will pull you up. Okay. And I love this quote by Richard Blissbrook. Self-motivation. Without it, nothing else works, but with it, nothing else matters. I love that, because motivation is never going to come from outside of you. It is always within you. All right, let's get to some oils that are going to help you in this process. Okay, number 1, Ningxia Red, Ningxia Nitro. Okay, you need to fuel your body. You need to fuel your body. Okay, Ningxia Red, whole body infusion of energy and antioxidants that are going to help you physically and emotionally feel your best. I have been drinking Ningxia Red daily for 8.5 years. And I really credit this, as well as other things, to why I'm able to have 3 businesses and not lose my mind. So this is very important because you need to feel well and have good energy. You can't caffeinate yourself into your passion job. Ningxia Nitro is going to infuse your brain with mental energy to stay focused on what you need to stay focused on. And it's especially good if you're working on your passion business at the end of the day. It's never going to keep you awake. So if you come home at the end of the day and you want to spend an hour working on your passion project or your passion business, suck down one of those Ningxia Nitros and you'll be amazed. Energize. This is going to give you the physical boost so that you can pursue what you want, because a lot of women have adrenal fatigue and they are exhausted and they would love to have a side passion, but they have no energy. They may work all day and then they've got kids at home and they're like, oh, I would love to do that, but I have no energy. This nourishes and balances the adrenals, which is where fight, flight, and freeze originates. And it helps the entire endocrine system. So if you're exhausted, this is going to help you find balance. I mean, it's got herbals in it that are naturally balanced, that are not going to push the endocrine system past its normal balance. So don't worry about getting overly stimulated. This has powerful adaptogens, herbs, and essential oils in it. It's got a huge infusion of vitamin B6, like a 1,470% increase in or percentage dose of B6. It's got zinc. And, use it 4 weeks, stop for 2 weeks. Use it for 4 weeks, stop for 2 weeks. Don't use it if you're pregnant. So that's important. Motivation. If procrastination and fear are in our mind, this is an oil that you want to work with, because procrastination and fear are not real, but they feel real. Fear is going to distract us and give us all sorts of excuses not to pursue on purpose and pursue our passion. And fear and procrastination are just the mindset blocks that say, you don't have time for this. You don't know enough. You are not enough. And that motivation oil is going to bust through that. It's going to bust through the procrastination and the fear and get you moving. And it's going to tell all of that negative mindset talk, you do not know what you're talking about. Take this. Okay, that's a good oil to use. And the acceptance oil, sometimes we want something and we set a goal and we have a vision board and we use affirmations and we dream about it. But on a spiritual level, we block ourselves. Acceptance oil stops the resistance that we may not even know that we have. So whenever we try something new or we create change, subconsciously and spiritually, we resist it. Subconsciously, your brain is trying to protect you because change is scary. This oil helps. It is great through stressful change. It helps you to accept change that may be difficult, like giving up, binge watching on Netflix. Yeah, you need to give that up if you're going to make time. It keeps you focused on the end result. It allows you to be more open to attract things into your life to help you pursue on purpose. So that's a great oil. And then to really fuel your energy, this is my newest adrenal energy blend. Oh my word, I love this. This is for career women, busy moms, and those building a passion business with multiple businesses. Because motivated women have adrenal fatigue and you need to keep your adrenals strong. 3 drops of clove, this helps with stress. 6 drops of nutmeg, that is your adrenal oil, because it helps to process and balance the feelings of exhaustion. 6 drops of frankincense, this supports you in everything. Frank does it all. 7 drops of rosemary. Rosemary has amazing cleansing properties. It supports the liver, it helps with healthy blood pressure, which all connects to the adrenals through the hypothalamic pituitary axis, the HPA. And then top it off with an organic carrier oil like coconut oil or jojoba oil, and apply it over your lower back, over the adrenals that sit on top of your kidneys. Do it every morning and before bed. That is an amazing blend. It's going to give you energies. Because if you get home at the end of the day and you're exhausted and you don't have, and you say, well, I don't have the energy, I don't have the time, there's your solution. All right, for my crystal loving friends, here are your crystals. All right, you notice these are all like solar plexus crystals. So citrine, you're going to place these on your stomach. So, lay down on the couch and give yourself a 10-minute infusion every day. Citrine, this is all about empowerment, confidence, self-esteem, energy. It helps you be highly creative. It grounds negative energy around you, and it helps with abundance and that abundant mindset. Golden Healer Quartz, this is a universal life force energy crystal. It helps with creation, clearing blocks, spiritual growth, which is needed for business. It creates joy and peace in the workplace. Tiger's Eye helps with self-worth, self-criticism, blocked creativity, that uncommitted energy. And you want to commit, but you just have this uncommitted energy. Tiger's Eye helps with making change and empowerment and pursuing goals. Citrine Herkimer, oh my gosh, sometimes it's called Golden Healer Herkimer. Oh my gosh, this clears the poverty consciousness, that lack mindset. It opens prosperity, optimism, self-confidence, motivation, creativity. Serpentine helps energy rise through the body so that you feel more in control over your life. Because a lot of times, if you don't like your job, you have no control. This just brings that energy through your body so you have more control over your life and will start making decisions. And then green aventurine is all about decisiveness and prosperity. It's about heart-based work. Heart-based businesses are thriving. It's about leadership and creativity, well-being and harmony. And it helps you identify what makes you happy. And this is the new abundance crystal. Green aventurine is. All right, and if you need a book, this book is about ready to come out. This is one of my coaches that I work with. I think her book is due out April 24th, and it's called Pivot to Purpose. She also has a free podcast. I would highly recommend listening to it. It is targeted to network marketers, but she goes into this hustle culture and goes into mindset work, and it's a free podcast. But this book is all about mindset that is blocking you on having work that is purposeful, that you enjoy, that you can get paid for. It's going to be a phenomenal book. I mean, I know her. I have been with her for a year. This book is going to change your life. So I highly recommend getting it. And at the end of the day, always ask yourself, do I feel good about today? Was I at my best today? Did I make a difference today? Because you are literally one decision away from a completely different life. And it's all in how you treat your work and how you get paid. All right. So a couple of last minute housekeeping things, and then I'll stop the recording and take some questions. If you are interested in any of my energy classes, I have crystal classes coming up next month. Registration is going to cut off pretty soon. I have online versions of my basic crystal healing and my crystal healing for animals. And this is 8.5 to 9 hours of intensive crystal education. You will never think about crystals the same way again when you take one of these classes. I can guarantee that. So that's on the Manifested Harmony website. And if by chance you're watching this and you are very curious about Young Living essential oils, you can get started and get a wholesale account. Whoever invited you to watch this, please get with them so that they can help you get enrolled. If you found your way to me, or if I invited you, my enroller number is on the page, or just contact me and I will help you get started. And then let's stay connected. So, this is something that I'm very passionate about, because I have been in a place where I may have loved being an attorney, but it was hard on me. And it got to the point where it was literally killing me. And you can change, because I walked away from it, and I worked so hard to get my law degree. I worked full time and went to law school at night. So for me to take that leap was huge. was huge. Anybody can do it. There is nothing special about me. I am just like you. And so if you have questions, let me know. All right, I'm going to stop the recording and see if there's any questions. Thanks for watching.